Hello, hello. We have just a couple people here getting some snacks and things like that, so we're going to start in just a minute. I'm just letting folks online know that we're letting people get their seats, etc. We'll be right back. All right. Howdy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Um, this is, I am Cody Anthony. I'm with Community System Solutions, and this is a community meeting we are holding called Breathe Easy. Yakima is the initiative that we're running here in town. And this community meeting is about air quality in overburdened communities, a grant that's called Air Quality in Overburdened Communities Grant. If you would like to follow along at home, there or here, there is a QR code here. If you want to follow along to the slides in Spanish, the slides tonight will be in English. I am an English speaker, but happy to have everyone else here. Cool. So I'm just gonna punch through this, and I'll pause on this for a minute for anyone online that might want to see the QR code there to follow along. Sometimes it's easier reading. All right. So tonight's agenda. Okay, so we'll go over this really quickly. We're going to do some introductions. We'll talk about the grant itself. We'll have some time to take the survey that we're collecting for this grant. And we'll have some time for some small group discussion. And then we're going to prioritize funds because, as you'll find out, we're getting some funds here in Yakima. And we want to know what to spend them on. And then also there's a prize drawing for folks here in the room. And yeah, that's it. We'll conclude. So it should be pretty short and simple. So things to keep in mind. We're here to learn about the Air Quality in Overburdened Communities Grant, to get your feedback, to discuss air quality here in specifically East Yakima, to identify priority air quality issues, to stay in touch and keep updated as this process moves forward. We may not all agree on everything, and that's okay. But we just want to keep constructive and civil. And then don't forget we're doing those gift card prizes at the end of the event. And if you are online and you're not here able to do the drawings in the room, you missed out on this one, but there will be 2 more coming up. And also, if you take the survey, there's additional drawings that we do at the end of every month for survey participants. Okay, so some alphabet soup. The Washington Air Quality in Overburdened Communities Grant is AQOCG, if you ever see that. Climate Pollution Reduction Grants is a category of grants, CPRG. Criteria Air Pollution Cap, Air Quality AQ, Greenhouse Gases, GHGs. Particulate Matter, PM 2.5, this one is probably the most confusing, but it's talking about particulate of a diameter of 2.5 micrometers or less. You might just see these things on the slides, so I just wanted to give an opportunity to push them all out. Okay, so who we are. Like I said, my name is Cody Anthony. My colleague here is Andrew Crotto. We are with Community System Solutions. We're a nonprofit. We work on a number of different types of projects, but most of them have to do with the environment and what we can do to better communities and the environments that those communities are in. We are also working with the Central Washington University, their Office of Sustainability. They've helped us a lot in connecting with the community in Ellensburg and also down here. And this whole grant, the grant itself, is funded by the Washington Department of Ecology. We'll get into more about the grant itself, but that's who's funding this program. Okay, so what is the AQOCG? What does it stand for again? It's the Air Quality and Overburdened Communities Grant. Good job, that person that said that from the back of the room. Okay, so the purpose of this grant is to engage members of the community to identify projects that reduce criteria air pollution, and to design locally led projects that reduce CAP. So part one of that is these meetings. These meetings, the survey that we've put together, canvassing through the community, trying to table at events and things like that, and generally just engaging with community members to get their experience of air quality in their communities and the things that concern them the most and what they would like to see done about it. Once we have everyone's feedback, all the survey results, all of the conversations, all of the activities that we're doing, and we've compiled all of that data, we're hoping to identify projects and develop, in part two, a comprehensive plan and design for at least one criteria air pollutant reduction project. And then, hopefully, moving forward, we'll be able to pull funds together, draw grant funding down to make those projects happen in the community. So why does this matter? Well, Washington needs to improve air quality, particularly in overburdened communities. So the grant is kind of aptly named. Air quality affects us all. It transcends local, state, federal policy issues. It's a part of your everyday life right now. It will affect your life too. And we need your help to plan solutions. We need to know your community. You know your community better than we do. Our organization works in several different states around the country. We're housed in Sacramento, California, is kind of where our home base is. But that being said, we're not from Yakima. We don't live here. We don't stay here year round. We've only been in town a few times. We're working hard to try to get to know folks while we're here, but we'll never know the experience of air quality and general quality of life in the environment here in Yakima the same way that you guys do. So what does that mean? Communities overburdened with air quality. So some of that has to do with community demographics and the folks that are historically haven't been taken care of or historically haven't been invested in. But it's also based on real data about air quality. So this is a map. It's a little difficult to see because it's kind of white, but in all of the dark areas, you'll probably see the outline of your state a little bit. And in the dark areas, those are the areas with the highest levels of poor air quality. And the state, the Department of Ecology, they identified 16 cities or communities that had the worst air quality in the state. air quality in the state of Washington is not terrible, right? I don't want everybody to leave here feeling freaked out, right? It's okay, but these are the cities that kind of are behind some of the rest of the state as far as air quality is concerned. And so the state said, we have funds, we're going to spend money to fix some problems. Let's focus on the people who need it the most. So you'll see down your list there at number 15 is East Yakima. So why? Okay, this is a little write-up. I'm not going to read this whole thing to you, but that map we were just looking at is the Washington Environment and Health Disparities map that ranked, along with EJ Screen Demographic Index and stuff like that, elevated levels of that PM 2.5. Remember, that was particulate matter, so tiny itty-bitty pieces of particles in the air that you breathe in. That's one of the biggest things that we are focused on here, because air quality issues, like if a truck drives by and it blows a big plume of black diesel gas smoke, right? You see that, you smell it. But as that dissipates and as other things, there are other things in the air that are much more difficult to see, and you can't really smell them as much. And so they may not be as visible, but when we test and we go out into the field and put testing equipment and check the air quality, we find these elevated levels of particulates that are that small, but that are not healthy for you. So a lot of people that we've talked to have said, do we have bad air quality here? I thought the air was pretty good. And yeah, to answer your question, yeah, it's not terrible. It meets some standards, but it could be better. And in fact, a lot of people are not even really aware of it because it's not visible, because you can't see it, smell it, whatever. Some stuff like forest fires, you can see that smoke, right? That's something that you can see, and that is something we're talking about today too. So yeah, East Yakima was one of the census tracts that is at the 90th percentile for asthma, COPD, chronic pulmonary obstructive disease, and they're in the 10th percentile for life expectancy. So problems with low life expectancy. And yeah, so based on that information, some of these other things, I won't read this to you. These slides are available on our website. We can make sure that those are there if you want to check them out, or go back and watch this video and pause. You can read this whole thing, and this is just a piece of the puzzle. There's also some links we can tag in there to the fuller reports from the Department of Ecology. So when we're talking about East Yakima, this is what we're talking about. It's a little difficult to see, but if you are familiar with the city, like I'm sure all of you guys are, you'll see where we're talking about. And yeah, this is the community. Obviously air quality is not constricted to boundaries. It doesn't, if I'm having air quality problem here, that doesn't mean that you're safe right there. We're sharing the same air, right? But this is the area with the census tract that had the highest numbers. So this is a census tract boundary, not necessarily the air quality boundary, but that's what we're looking at there. So the timeline on this grant, we're in phase 1. Sir, this is the survey section. So that's where we're going to do the survey, gather those results, and we're going to try to wrap that up by June 30th. We're also having community meetings where we're gathering that information. We'll also wrap our community meetings by June 30th, but we may have some opportunities to do some further community engagement, extra tabling, extra events, things like that through July. But we're going to have that comprehensive analysis and kind of deep dive into what everybody is telling us and put our reports together by July 30th. And then also the project report, designing something for an improvement project. So we have that goal. These are kind of some of our goals. Again, engage the communities, prioritize their benefits, identify projects, create plans to implement them, and hopefully, through all of this work and through actual hands on the ground, boots on the ground projects, achieve significant air quality improvements. So what it is not, that's worth addressing. So some air quality concerns might be best addressed through regulatory actions and policies. So like making laws, legislation, regulation, telling people they can't pollute, or telling people they have to drive this type of car, or telling the gas people they got to do this, or telling such and such. There are lots of ways to tackle air quality, and so regulatory actions is not one of the things that we're really focused on for this grant, because what they want to do is physical projects, right? Designing some sort of piece of machinery or a program to update people's furnaces or something like that, something tangible, physical that we can not only do and see happen in the community, but also that provides jobs to people in the community because someone has to build those things. And it's what this grant is designed for, is not just putting a piece of legislation across the governor's desk or whatever. It's about, that's powerful and worth doing, but this is about injecting money into the community to fix the problems and paying people in the community who are able to be a part of doing that. So I personally really love that, because I'm really big into workforce development and teaching people and growing communities through providing job opportunities and things like that. And that's part of what this does. So it cleans up the air, but it also, we're looking for stuff that's physical, tangible projects on the ground. We still want to know if you have concerns that might be addressed with regulation. So there's opportunities in the survey for that as well. So what are some potential sources of air quality, air pollution? So it could be the way that we generate electricity. It could be our transportation habits, the types of transportation and how we engage with them as a community. It could be industrial, could be like a manufacturing plant or something like that. It could be buildings, right? Like this building here is heated, cooled, has energy pumping through it, and the ways that we design buildings interact with those types of things, electric generation, heating, all that kind of stuff. It could be agricultural. There's a lot of agricultural practices that have the potential to pollute the air, and some of them are well regulated, some of them are not well regulated. Some of them folks would love to take part in processes that are cleaner, safer for our air, but they don't have the funding or money to build those things. There's these things called anaerobic digesters that you feed agricultural waste into, and then instead of that just polluting methane into the air, it has these little microbial things that eat and digest that stuff down to something that's actually usable for us, and it also keeps that stuff out of the air. It could be natural stuff like working the lands, how we're working on forest fire management. That's a big one around here for lots of folks. It could also be waste and materials and how we handle waste. And the benefits of cleaning those things up, addressing those types of things are, overall we get a reduction in pollutants, not just air quality, but a lot of these things are friends with each other and co-pollute at the same time. So reducing one helps reduce the other. We improve public health. We improve the water quality, because anything that can get into the air can also get into your water table. We get better climate resilience as the climates are changing, fluctuating. You see that. We'll get better soil quality. Some of the options in agriculture can really help improve the soil. We have more green spaces, cleaner energy, and economic development, like I said earlier, injecting funds into the community instead of just paying for regulation to happen. Okay, so before we move on, are there any questions? Does anybody have any questions here? Or I'm going to check the chat over here and see if there's questions online. I don't see any questions online, but does anyone have any questions in the room? Good, good, good. Doing good? Andrew, we're doing good? All right. Okay, so then what's next this evening is that we're going to take the survey. Have you already taken the survey? No. You have not. Okay. All of you can take the survey if you need assistance with that. So we'll take the survey if we haven't done that already, and then we'll do some discussion, some group discussion, and we'll figure out what we want to do afterwards. We want you to lead the conversation, so that's kind of what we're going to push towards. So I jumped the gun. I said, were there any questions or comments before I got to this slide? But okay, here's the survey link. It's up here. There is also paper surveys if you would like to take it on paper. The paper survey is English and Spanish. But if you are able, you can scan this QR code. It'll take you to a link where you can take the survey in Spanish or English. And so we're going to take some time. I'm going to leave this screen up, and we're going to take some time, and the online folks will have a chance to kind of pop in and do this. There we go. We got the survey link into the chat. Thanks, Mike and Laura. So yeah, folks at home can take the survey. We'll take a little break. I wish I had some cheesy fun music to play online, but live streamers, we will be back in probably 15 minutes. Okay, we are coming back for a minute. We're all wrapped up with the surveys in the room. And the next portion of the evening at these events is breaking up into small groups and discussing and prioritizing projects. And so I won't, oh, one second. We locked out our COO for a minute there. We're going to be okay, though. So yeah, we're going in the room now. We're going to transition into small group discussion, prioritizing projects, and then we'll do our raffle. So I won't keep streamers online for all of that's going on in the room around them. But I do want to have opportunity for folks to discuss and add their thoughts and opinions in the comments on the video. So I am going to go to the last slide that says that we'll be ending soon, and I'll turn this off after maybe 10 minutes or so, but I just want to give some time for folks to chat in the comments as well. But thank you guys for joining us online, and we will see you at the next one.